I am speaking directly to your heart because this moment is more important than you realize, and I cannot allow you to miss the weight of what I am telling you right now. There are seasons in your life that can pass quietly, but this is not one of them. This is a moment where heaven is leaning closer, where eternity is pressing on your present, where I myself am cutting through the distractions that have tried to blind you. Because if you do not see clearly in this hour, if you do not awaken to my voice in this very instant, you will be vulnerable to traps you never even imagined were being set against you. And I cannot remain silent while the enemy schemes to derail the destiny that I carefully designed before you ever took your first breath. So hear me with urgency. You are not stumbling randomly through these days. You are being drawn into a divine crossroad where one decision, one response, one act of obedience has the power to shift everything in your future. And that is why I am not whispering softly but declaring loudly, shaking the walls of your doubt, piercing through the noise of your fear, commanding your attention as a shepherd calls his sheep out of danger. Because I need you to grasp that you are standing on ground that is holy and dangerous at the same time. Holy because my presence is near, dangerous because distraction is closer than you think. And if you dare to treat this as ordinary, if you dare to shrug off this message as just another word passing by, you risk forfeiting treasures, open doors, breakthroughs, and protections that are waiting only for the heart that says yes immediately. Not later, not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient, but yes now, yes urgently, yes with trembling reverence, yes with unwavering faith. For what is about to unfold requires your alignment, requires your surrender, requires your ears to stay pressed to my chest and your eyes locked onto mine, because you are surrounded by voices that want to dilute what I am saying, voices that will tell you wait, delay, ignore, doubt. But I am standing in the middle of your storm declaring, do not ignore me now, child. This is the hour where your destiny hinges on attention, where your safety hinges on obedience, where your future hinges on trust. And I am warning you with love sharper than any sword, wake up, rise up, listen up, because if you could see what I see, if you could glimpse the plans being written in secret councils of darkness against your name, you would run into my arms without hesitation. You would cling to every word I am saying, and you would never again treat lightly the urgency with which I call you, because I am not calling you to scare you. I am calling you to save you, to preserve you, to usher you into a victory you cannot imagine, but that victory will only be realized if you stop where you are right now and listen as if your life depends on it, because it does. You have been pulled in countless directions, and though you try to keep moving forward, there is a quiet struggle inside you that few truly understand. Yet I have seen every moment of it, and my patience has not been absence. It has been mercy giving you space to return your full attention to me. But now I must press harder because the hours are racing and what waits just ahead requires your spirit to be alert, your faith to be alive, and your mind to be steadfast. For you cannot afford to live in half-awareness while the unseen war intensifies around you. And I tell you plainly, your distractions are not harmless. They are designed snares that rob you of peace, that steal your clarity, that cloud your discernment. And if you continue allowing your focus to scatter on lesser things, you will miss the movement of my hand which is already rearranging pieces of your life for a season of release. So listen closely, beloved. I am drawing you back into alignment, back into stillness before me, back into the place where my whisper becomes louder than the chaos, for the enemy thrives in your divided attention. But I thrive when you fix your eyes solely on me, and I cannot let another moment pass without shaking you awake to this reality. Every second matters. Every decision is shaping the road ahead. Every hesitation is giving ground to voices that do not deserve your agreement. And yet in the midst of it all, I have been standing beside you, waiting for you to realize that what you called delay was actually protection. What you thought was silence was in fact my shield. What you misread as distance was my deliberate act of guarding you until you were strong enough to step into the weight of calling resting on your shoulders. But now that season has shifted, now I am confronting you with urgency, because the next move is critical, and if you let yourself remain distracted, you will not be ready for the acceleration about to come upon you. And so I say to you, strip away the noise, cut off the habits that drain your spirit, silence the lies that loop in your head, and run back to me with urgency like a soldier returning to his commander for instructions in the middle of battle, for you are not wandering aimlessly. You are engaged in a fight for souls, and every time you allow me to focus your vision, you push back the darkness that thought it had a claim on you. And do you not see that my patience has been love in disguise, that my waiting has been a chance for you to realign without the collapse of everything around you? And now I need you to rise with urgency, to recognize that delay is no longer an option, that drifting is no longer safe, that compromise is no longer acceptable. For the time is at hand where you must choose deliberately. And my hand is extended now, in this breath, in this moment, calling you to take it, because I have greater ground for you to walk on, higher places for you to stand in, deeper waters for you to step into. And none of it can be embraced while your gaze is still divided. So hear me now. Awaken. Beloved, focus, listen, and step forward without hesitation, because the moment of shift has already begun and I cannot let you miss it. Do not let the voices of this world suffocate what I am declaring to you right now, for there are countless sounds echoing around you, each one pulling for your attention, each one pretending to hold truth. But many of them are carefully crafted deceptions meant to weaken your faith and dull your spirit until you cannot discern my nearness. And I need you to see with fresh vision that every moment you entertain those lies, you are unknowingly giving room for confusion to settle inside, and confusion is not harmless. It is a strategy of darkness to twist your perception until you doubt what I already spoke over you. But I am breaking that off you now with a thunderous reminder that my voice is not buried beneath the noise. It is alive. It is strong. It is cutting through every false narrative. And if you will lean in, if you will choose silence with me, if you will guard your ears from the words that drain your faith, you will discover that I have been speaking clearly all along. For I am not distant. I am not muted. I am not hidden. I am closer than the breath within your lungs, and I am declaring to you with urgency. Let nothing drown me out, not opinions of men, not whispers of fear, not lies dressed as logic, not storms disguised as facts, because I am the one who holds reality in my hand, and what I say will stand when every other voice fades. So why do you allow yourself to be swayed so easily by shifting winds of opinion when my word has never changed? Why do you let temporary noise shake eternal truth? Why do you give weight to sounds that hold no power when I, the creator of time and destiny, am speaking directly to you in this very moment? And I tell you plainly, every competing sound seeks to pull you away from your assignment. But I am calling you to anchor yourself so deeply in my word that no scream of fear, no threat of man, no storm of circumstance can move you. For the hour is urgent, and the battlefield is full of voices designed to break your confidence. But I am giving you clarity if you will embrace it. I am giving you discernment if you will value it. I am giving you strength to reject the distractions that masquerade as truth. And I am commanding you to guard your ears as you would guard a treasure, because what you allow to enter will either fuel the fire of your calling or extinguish it. And I have not raised you to be silenced by deception. I have raised you to be a carrier of truth, a living voice of heaven on earth. And if you will stay tuned to me, if you will refuse to bow to the noise, you will walk through storms untouched. You will navigate confusion without fear. You will lead others into freedom because you will recognize the difference between my sound and the enemy's distortion. And I urge you, do not wait until the battle intensifies to choose where your ear belongs. Choose now. Choose in this moment. Choose with urgency, because the days ahead will be louder than you imagine. But if you are rooted in me, if your ear is trained to my spirit, if your focus is anchored in my truth, you will not be shaken. You will not be moved. You will stand tall as my voice resounds through you to silence every storm, and the world will know that you belong to me because my sound will carry through you like a trumpet in the midst of chaos. I have been reaching for you in ways you did not always recognize, sending subtle confirmations, weaving small details into your days, ranging moments that carried whispers of my presence, and yet so often you brushed them aside, explaining them away as coincidence, overlooking that I was carefully placing markers along your path to remind you that I was near. But the hour has come where subtlety is no longer enough, where signs alone cannot bear the weight of what you must know. So I am stripping away the veil of ambiguity and speaking directly into your innermost being, so that no doubt remains, no excuse can stand, no misunderstanding can cloud what I am making plain before you. Hear me clearly. This is not a suggestion. This is not an optional invitation you can delay. This is the moment where I am calling you into decision with unmistakable clarity, because I cannot let you stumble into danger without warning. I cannot watch you wander when a narrow way is opening before you. I cannot stay silent when what I have planned for you requires your full cooperation. And so I am making myself undeniable, confronting every place where you allowed uncertainty to linger, sweeping away the haze that clouded your vision, cutting through every false assurance you clung to, and declaring with urgency that this is the day you must hear and obey. For I am showing myself in a way that leaves no room to claim ignorance, no space to justify hesitation, no opportunity to pretend you did not know what I required of you. And I tell you plainly, child, the signs were always my mercy, but the directness of my voice now is my urgency. For the time you are stepping into will demand strength and clarity that can only come from being rooted in me. And I am not leaving you guessing. I am not leaving you to figure it out on your own. I am giving you unmistakable direction because the path is too important, the stakes too high, the consequences too great for you to drift casually. And so I am saying, open your eyes wide, lift your head higher, let your spirit awaken, because I am speaking now as a trumpet, now as a fire, now as a sword that divides between truth and deception, and I am doing it because I love you too much to watch you slip into traps laid before your feet. I love you too much to let you be lulled into complacency. I love you too much to leave you vulnerable when I created you to walk in strength, and that is why I am speaking this urgently, this clearly, this directly, because I know what lies ahead of you, and I know how easily distractions can strip you of what I have placed in you. But today I am placing my word like fire in your bones, so you will not be able to ignore it, so you will not be able to silence it, so you will not be able to forget it, for my spirit will stir you in the quiet hours, my presence will surround you in the moments you are tempted to drift, and my truth will confront every lie until you yield, because I will not stop until you are secure in the path I prepared. And though others may not understand the urgency you feel, though they may dismiss what I am speaking into your heart, you will know it is me because my words will echo like thunder within you, and nothing else will satisfy, nothing else will settle you, nothing else will bring peace except surrender. And when you finally turn fully toward me, when you finally choose to respond without holding back, you will discover that the clarity I am giving you now was not to burden you but to liberate you, not to overwhelm you but to strengthen you, not to trap you but to free you from the very snares that threatened your future. And all of it is because I could not remain silent when your destiny was at stake. The adversary has intensified his schemes against you because he senses what is being released in your life, and he fears the weight of purpose you carry, for he knows you are stepping into assignments that will dismantle his influence and shine light into places he thought he owned. So he has turned up his attacks, creating pressure, confusion, temptation, and even sudden waves of discouragement designed to drain you before you take hold of what I have ordained. But I am uncovering his plans so you will not be blindsided. I am alerting you with urgency so you recognize that the heaviness you feel is not a sign of weakness, but evidence of how threatened the enemy is by your next step. And I tell you with clarity, you are not under attack because you are failing. You are under attack because you are rising, because your obedience terrifies the kingdom of darkness, because your surrender will unlock blessings that ripple far beyond your own life. And so I need you to understand that these battles are not punishments. They are confirmations that you are moving in the right direction. Yet I will not leave you to fight them in your own strength, for I am equipping you with armor that cannot be pierced. I am surrounding you with a shield that cannot be broken. I am filling your spirit with fire that will not be extinguished. And if you cling to me with unwavering trust, you will watch every snare unravel, every accusation fall powerless, every weapon dissolve before it can touch you. For the enemy's roar is loud, but it is hollow. His threats are fierce, but they are empty. His plots appear strong, but they collapse the moment you anchor yourself in my word. And I am urging you now. Do not interpret the resistance as abandonment. Do not mistake the struggle as evidence that I am far. For I am closer in the fight than you realize. I am standing beside you as the lion who defends his own. I am covering you with strength unseen. I am whispering strategy in your ear when the path seems unclear, and I am declaring over you that though the enemy comes in like a flood, my spirit is raising a standard that will overwhelm him, and I will use even the pressure he applies to sharpen you, to strengthen you, to prepare you for greater authority, because what he intends for destruction I am already weaving into testimony. What he sets against you I am already turning into training ground. And soon you will look back and see that what felt unbearable was the very thing that positioned you for victory. But right now you must hold firm. Right now you must resist the urge to retreat. Right now you must lift your head and remember that you are not alone, that heaven is fighting alongside you, that angelic armies are standing guard over you, and that my spirit within you is greater than any darkness pressing against you. So take courage, beloved. The intensity you feel is not the end. It is the sign that breakthrough is imminent. It is the evidence that promises are near. It is the confirmation that you are stepping into territory the enemy thought you would never reach, and I will not allow his plans to succeed. I will not let his accusations define you. I will not permit his threats to derail you, for I have already decreed your victory, and now I am urging you with the full weight of heaven behind my words: stand, endure, hold fast, because the battle is raging precisely because the blessing is closer than you think, and nothing will stop it if you refuse to let go of me. That is why I need your full attention in this very hour, not later when you feel ready, not when circumstances appear calmer, not when you believe you will have more strength, for the moment you keep postponing is the very moment I have already chosen to act, and if you hesitate, you will miss the alignment I am setting in motion right now, for I do not wait for convenience. I move according to divine timing, and my timing is always perfect. Yet it demands sensitivity and obedience from you. So hear me. Delay is dangerous, hesitation is costly, distraction is deadly, and the enemy thrives in the space you leave open by indecision. But if you will sharpen your focus and lean into my voice this instant, you will find yourself stepping into clarity you have longed for, into breakthrough you have prayed for, into promises you thought were beyond reach, because I am not waiting for a more favorable environment. I am releasing what you need in the present, but you must seize it with both hands. For opportunities that open in the Spirit cannot be held by passive hearts. They require urgency, courage, determination, and faith that will not look back. And so I am urging you to stop wavering, to stop wondering if now is the right time, to stop measuring your readiness by your own strength, for I am the one who makes you ready. I am the one who equips you. I am the one who empowers you. And I am saying with fire in my voice, the appointed hour is here, the call is now, the door is open, and you must walk through it without delay, without fear, without excuses. For what awaits on the other side cannot be accessed by hesitation. It requires decisive faith that acts immediately. And do you not see that I have already prepared the way, already cleared obstacles, already shifted circumstances, already moved hearts, already softened paths, so that when you step forward you will find that everything aligns. But if you linger, the alignment will pass, and you will find yourself circling in unnecessary battles that could have been avoided had you trusted me the first time I spoke. And I am declaring this urgently because I love you too much to let you miss the season crafted for your release. I love you too much to watch you forfeit what I have orchestrated for your good. I love you too much to let you drift when acceleration is required. And so I am calling you to rise now, to awaken now, to move now, to obey now, because the fullness of what I promised is not waiting for tomorrow. It is standing before you today. But it requires your yes in this moment, your surrender in this breath, your faith in this step. And if you will respond, you will see doors swing wide that were bolted shut. You will see mountains crumble that looked immovable. You will see chains fall that felt permanent. And you will know without a shadow of doubt that it was I who moved because you dared to act when I spoke. But if you ignore me, if you push this off, if you convince yourself that later will be safer, you will find later never comes, and you will wander in circles that were never meant for you. So take my warning seriously, beloved, for I am speaking urgently, not to burden you but to deliver you, not to pressure you but to prepare you, not to frighten you but to free you, because the time has come, the moment is here, and I will not repeat myself indefinitely. Your destiny requires your attention now. Your calling demands your obedience now. Your breakthrough depends on your response now. So open your heart, steady your mind, fix your eyes on me, and take the step I am commanding, for the season has already shifted and the move must be made. What is unfolding in your life is not random chance, nor the product of mere human decisions. nor the outcome of blind luck as some would say, but the deliberate weaving of my hand shaping events, guiding encounters, redirecting paths, and setting divine order in the midst of what seems chaotic. For every twist and turn, every delay and advancement, every sudden shift that surprised you was in fact part of a larger pattern that only I could see from the beginning. And now I am revealing to you that nothing has been wasted, nothing has been overlooked, nothing has been meaningless, because I have been orchestrating your journey with precision so exact that even the moments you despised were used as tools to shape you for what comes next. And I want you to grasp that I am not improvising, I am not scrambling to repair what others broke, I am not trying to salvage what went wrong, for I knew before time began the steps you would take, the struggles you would endure, the choices you would face, and in my sovereignty I designed a path that would carry you forward even through storms. So when you look at your life and wonder why certain doors closed, why certain people left, why certain opportunities dissolved, remember this truth. I was not punishing you. I was protecting you from detours that would have destroyed your purpose. And now as you stand in this very moment, I want you to see that what appears uncertain to you is already resolved in my plan. What feels unfinished is already complete in my sight. What you fear may collapse is already sustained by my power. And if you will trust me beyond what your eyes perceive, you will begin to recognize that every detail, from the smallest encounter to the largest upheaval, has been woven together with intention. For I do not waste pain. I do not overlook tears. I do not ignore prayers. I fold them into the fabric of destiny until they serve the very purpose the enemy tried to prevent. And so I say urgently, lift your perspective higher. Stop seeing your story as fragments scattered without order. Stop assuming that setbacks disqualified you. Stop believing that interruptions ruined my plan, for my plan cannot be ruined. My design cannot be undone. My intention cannot be canceled. And the unfolding you are experiencing now is the very movement of destiny pressing you into the place I prepared. And while it may look messy to you, it is beauty in my eyes. While it may feel unstable to you, it is steady in my hands. While it may seem delayed to you, it is perfectly on schedule with eternity, and I am urging you with passion. Do not despise this process. Do not reject the shaping. Do not curse the season, for it is not meaningless. It is not random. It is not wasted. It is the unfolding of my hand writing chapters that will carry glory greater than you imagined. And I am declaring to you, hold steady, stay faithful, keep walking, for soon you will look back and see that what confused you was actually alignment. What frustrated you was actually preparation. What wounded you was actually transformation. And you will fall to your knees in awe, realizing that my hand was guiding it all. And you will proclaim with your own lips that surely nothing was random. Surely nothing was wasted. Surely everything was part of a plan far greater than your eyes could see. The struggles that surround you are not meaningless battles designed to crush your spirit. They are the clearest indicators of how much value you carry and how fiercely your destiny is contested. For the weight of resistance you have felt has not been proof of abandonment but of assignment, and every fiery trial you have endured has testified that you are carrying something the enemy fears deeply, something so powerful that he has done everything within his reach to discourage you, confuse you, and convince you to quit before you see the fulfillment. But I am exposing this truth to you now so you no longer interpret hardship as failure, for adversity has been the mark of chosen ones throughout history. My servants have always carried unusual opposition because they also carried unusual purpose. And I tell you, beloved, the warfare in your life is not punishment. It is confirmation that you are appointed to step into influence far greater than what you can currently imagine. And though it feels heavy, though it has stretched you to tears, though it has tempted you to question if you were truly seen, I have been near in every second, strengthening your spirit, fortifying your resolve, and shaping you through the very resistance that tried to destroy you. Because battles build warriors, fires purify vessels, storms train sailors, and I have allowed the weight of struggle not to break you but to sharpen you into someone who can carry the mantle prepared for you. And I am declaring with urgency that the opposition you are experiencing right now is the final tightening before release, the last contraction before birthing, the intense pressure that proves you are on the verge of stepping into what has been promised. So do not let the heaviness deceive you into retreat. Do not let the weariness convince you that you have failed. Do not let the voices of despair tell you that you are forgotten. For you are not forgotten. You are chosen. You are not weak. You are being fortified. You are not disqualified. You are being refined. And everything you have endured is the evidence that heaven has marked you for impact, that your story carries power to liberate others, that your scars will become testimonies brighter than any sermon, and that the very things that threatened to end you will soon become the platform from which you rise. And I need you to embrace this urgency. Your fight is not wasted. Your tears are not wasted. Your endurance is not wasted. Every wound, every trial, every sleepless night has been shaping in you a depth of character, a fire of faith, a resilience of spirit that nothing ordinary could ever produce. And I assure you, when you step into the place I am taking you, you will understand why the battle was so fierce. For the measure of resistance is always a mirror of the measure of destiny. And the reason you face such unrelenting storms is because you carry a future that will shake nations, break chains, and bring glory to my name in ways far beyond your imagination. So rise, beloved. Lift your head, strengthen your heart, because the battle has not been proof that you are weak. It has been proof that you are destined to win. Every tear you have released in secret, every silent cry that no one else noticed, every moment when you wept quietly because the weight felt unbearable has been gathered by my hand. None of it has disappeared into nothingness. None of it has been ignored or overlooked. For I have stored each drop as a testimony of your endurance. And those tears are not wasted emotions but seeds that have been watering the ground of your destiny, preparing harvests of joy that you cannot yet see. But soon you will, because what you thought was simply pain was actually prayer rising before me. And I was present in every trembling moment when you thought no one cared. I was near when you held your face in your hands and asked if life had purpose. I was beside you when grief pressed so hard you felt you would collapse under it. And I want you to know with urgency that not one moment of sorrow has been meaningless, for they have been transformed in my presence into testimonies that will one day comfort others who walk the same road. And though you longed for relief in the moment, what I was doing was much deeper. I was turning your brokenness into a well of compassion. I was shaping your heart so it could carry mercy for those who would need it. I was softening your spirit so it could reflect my tenderness. And even now, while you still feel the sting of those moments, I am promising you that they will become fountains of healing not only for you but for multitudes who will hear your story. For I am the God who redeems every drop of anguish, who transforms every groan into glory, who rewrites every lament into victory. And I say to you now, do not despise the nights of tears. Do not curse the hours of sorrow. Do not think that your weeping was pointless, for those tears are carrying eternal weight. And the day is coming quickly when you will see laughter rise in the very places where you once mourned, when you will dance in the same rooms where you once collapsed, when you will lift your voice in gratitude where once you could barely whisper my name. And in that moment you will understand that I was holding you all along, carrying you when you felt weak, whispering hope into your spirit when you thought despair would drown you. And you will testify with joy that not a single tear was wasted because I wove them all into the masterpiece of your story. And I am urging you now to hold on, to keep trusting, to keep believing even in the midst of fresh tears, because you are closer than you think to the season where mourning is turned into gladness, and the tears that once burned your cheeks will water the gardens of blessing I am about to spring forth in your life. I am nearer to you in your sorrow than you have ever realized, for while joy feels light and easy to share, it is in the heaviness of grief that I draw closest, wrapping you with a presence so deep that even when you could not sense me, I was holding you tighter than ever. And though others may have walked away, misunderstood, or minimized what you carried, I never left your side for a single moment. And I want you to know that your pain was not endured in isolation, because I was leaning close. I was whispering strength into your weakness. I was guarding you from collapse when the burden pressed too strongly against your chest. And I was whispering comfort into your spirit even when your mind could not perceive it, for my heart breaks with yours. My spirit feels every wound you endure, and I have not been distant. I have been closer than your own shadow, closer than your own breath, and I tell you this with urgency. I have seen every moment of your anguish, and I have chosen to make those moments holy ground. For in those valleys where you thought you were abandoned, you were actually being carried by divine hands that refused to let you fall. And though it seemed unbearable, I was using the weight of it to forge within you a depth of faith and intimacy that could not be formed in ease. Because there are measures of my presence reserved only for those who walk through fire. There are treasures hidden in darkness that can only be discovered when the lights of this world fade. And you, beloved, have been walking through such places, not because I desired your hurt, but because I desired your closeness, because I knew that if you lean into me in the midnight hour, you would discover a dimension of my love that laughter alone could never reveal. And so I stayed near in silence. I wrapped myself around you like a shield. I absorbed the blows you did not see, and I whispered to your spirit when no words would form on your lips. And though you thought I was absent, I was nearer than ever. For I cannot abandon the ones who call to me. I cannot forsake those marked by my blood. I cannot walk away when the wounds cut deeply. I draw closer. I embrace tighter. I hold firmer. And even now I am assuring you, every time you broke, I was the strength that kept you breathing. Every time you collapsed, I was the arms that held you. Every time you thought you were finished, I was the reason you kept moving. And I am urging you not to despise your brokenness, for it has become the very place of my intimacy, the place where I meet you most profoundly, the place where heaven bends low to touch earth. And soon you will see that what you endured has given you a depth of relationship with me that few ever experience, and it will become a wellspring that not only heals you but pours into countless others who are desperate to know that I am near in suffering, for your story will carry a fragrance of hope, your scars will shine with redemption, and your testimony will prove that I am never distant in pain but always present, always faithful, always closer than you knew. You may have felt invisible, overlooked by people who should have noticed you, forgotten by those you served, ignored by those you cared for, but I tell you with absolute certainty that you are engraved upon the very palm of my hand. Your name is carried before me unceasingly, and your life has never been hidden from my sight. For even when others dismissed you, I treasured you. When others failed to honor you, I held you as priceless. When others disregarded your worth, I surrounded you with value that cannot be diminished. And I need you to grasp with urgency that my memory of you does not fade, my awareness of you does not dim, my care for you does not waver. You are constantly before me, as close to my heart as a child resting in the embrace of a loving parent, and I have preserved every detail of your life, every dream, every desire, every cry, storing them like jewels that I polish with my love. And I am telling you that not for a single moment have you ever been lost in the crowd. Not once have you slipped through the cracks of my awareness. Not ever have you been too small for my concern, because I am the shepherd who counts each sheep, who notices when one wanders, who leaves the 99 to pursue the one. And you are that one, pursued, loved, valued, carried, secured. And while the world may measure worth by visibility, by recognition, by applause, I measure worth by love, by sacrifice, by the price I paid, and I paid the highest price for you, pouring out blood and breath to ensure that you would never be separated from me. So never again believe the lie that you are unseen. Never again accept the deception that you are abandoned. Never again assume that silence means neglect. For I am closer than ever, and I am proclaiming urgently, you are mine, chosen, remembered, precious beyond comprehension. And I hold you so near that your name is etched into my very being, and I will not release you. I will not forget you. I will not drop you. I will carry you through seasons of obscurity into places of fulfillment, and though others may overlook the treasure within you, I will not, for I see the value I placed in you when I formed you in secret, when I knit you together with purpose, when I designed every detail of your destiny. And soon you will see that being hidden for a season was not rejection but protection, that being overlooked was not erasure but preparation, that being underestimated was not failure but refinement. And you will rejoice knowing that I never forgot, I never abandoned, I never overlooked you, because you were always before me, engraved in my hand, sealed in my love, anchored in my presence, and carried into the fullness of destiny by the God who never forgets his own. I have witnessed the silent wrestlings within your soul, the inner questions you dared not voice aloud, the nights where your thoughts spun circles of uncertainty, and though you tried to carry yourself with strength before others, I saw the heaviness hidden beneath your smile. I heard the doubts echoing through your mind, and I tell you urgently that none of those thoughts have driven me away. None of those questions have disqualified you. None of those struggles have caused me to withdraw. For I am not repelled by your honesty. I am drawn to it. I am not frightened by your weakness. I am near to it. I am not angered by your uncertainty. I meet you in it. And I want you to see that I never demanded perfection. I never required flawless faith. I never expected you to walk without stumbling. I asked only for authenticity, for the courage to bring your doubts before me instead of hiding them, for the willingness to let me into the messy corners of your mind where fear argues with belief. And I am telling you that I welcome your transparency. For when you confess your uncertainty, you are actually inviting my spirit to show you truth that will stabilize your steps. And I am not afraid of your questions because I am the answer. I am not offended by your confusion because I am the truth. I am not unsettled by your hesitation because I am your strength. And I assure you now that those struggles you thought made you unworthy are actually the very places where my grace flows most powerfully, the very places where my presence becomes undeniable, the very places where I reveal myself most clearly. And I need you to understand that I am not a distant ruler demanding blind compliance, but a loving Savior who leans in to hear your real heart, who invites you to speak freely, who embraces you even when your faith trembles. And I will never turn you away for being human. I will never reject you for being fragile. I will never condemn you for faltering, because I came for the broken. I came for the questioning. I came for the weary. I came for the ones who admit they cannot carry everything alone. And you are safe to be honest with me. You are safe to pour out every thought. You are safe to bring the questions others mocked or minimized, because I will meet you there. I will steady you there. I will grow you there. And soon you will discover that what you thought disqualified you was actually the doorway to deeper intimacy. That what you thought separated you was actually the place where my love pressed closer. And I declare with urgency, your hidden doubts are not barriers. They are invitations. Your quiet wrestlings are not failures. They are encounters waiting to happen. And I will prove myself faithful to you again and again until every whisper of uncertainty is drowned by the evidence of my goodness. And you will know without question that I never left you even when your heart questioned me. I never withdrew even when your thoughts doubted me. I never abandoned you even when your spirit trembled. For my commitment is unshakable, my presence unmovable, and my love unending. And I will continue to pursue you until you know deep within that nothing can separate you from me. Those uncertainties you carried did not drive me away. Instead, they opened a door for me to demonstrate my faithfulness in ways you could never deny. For every doubt whispered in your mind became an opportunity for me to reveal my strength. Every question you held inside became an altar where I could meet you with undeniable evidence of my love. And every moment you felt fragile became the very ground where I proved that my grace was sufficient. For I am not shaken when your confidence wavers. I am not offended when your trust falters. I am not disappointed when you struggle to believe, because I know the weight of the battle you are in. I know the voices that surround you. I know the intensity of the fire that tests your resolve, and rather than condemning you, I step into that struggle with compassion. I draw near with reassurance. I speak life into the cracks where fear has tried to settle, and I remind you that I am the one who steadies hearts, who strengthens knees, who lifts weary arms, who breathes courage into fainting souls. And I say urgently to you now, bring those hidden doubts into my presence. Do not hide them. Do not bury them. Do not pretend they are not there. For when you place them before me, I will not reject you. I will not shame you. I will not rebuke you harshly. I will surround you with truth that silences lies. I will pour peace into your mind until the storm loses its power. I will anchor your spirit in promises that cannot be shaken, and you will see with your own eyes that I am trustworthy, that I am reliable, that I am unchanging, that I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. And as I prove myself faithful time and time again, the doubts that once weighed heavily upon you will lose their strength. The lies that once sounded convincing will fade into nothing. The fears that once paralyzed you will crumble under the evidence of my goodness, and you will rise with confidence not built on human effort, but on living encounters with me. And when others see the transformation, when they ask how you endured, when they wonder how you stand firm now, you will testify that it was not your strength, it was not your wisdom, it was not your resilience, but my hand, my love, my mercy that carried you. And your story will break chains in those who struggle the way you once did. because they will hear in your voice the sound of someone who knows what it is to doubt yet has discovered what it is to be held secure, someone who has wrestled yet has been embraced, someone who has questioned yet has been answered, and through you they will learn that my patience is endless, that my compassion is greater than their fear, that my pursuit is stronger than their confusion, and this will bring them hope to return to me. For I am using your wrestlings not to shame you but to shape you into a witness, a living testimony that I never let go, and I declare to you now with urgency. Do not be afraid of your questions, for I am the answer. Do not be afraid of your doubts, for I am the truth. Do not be afraid of your weakness, for I am your strength. And you will soon discover that the very places you thought would break you have become the very places I prove to you that I cannot fail, I cannot abandon, I cannot lie, I cannot leave undone what I began, for I am faithful even when you waver, and I will continue to show you until your doubts bow before the reality of my endless love. I am not here to accuse you or to weigh you down with guilt, for condemnation was never my purpose and shame was never my language. Instead, I am drawing you with arms of mercy that have never grown tired of holding you, with kindness that has never run dry, with patience that has never given up. And I need you to feel this truth deep within, even when you stumbled, even when you faltered, even when you turned aside. I did not recoil from you. I did not push you away. I did not abandon you in your weakness. Rather, I leaned closer. I reached deeper. I wrapped you in a love that does not demand perfection but invites surrender. And I want you to know urgently that what I desire from you is not flawless performance but an open heart that trusts me enough to return again and again. Because my grace is stronger than your failures, my compassion is greater than your mistakes. My love is wider than the distance you tried to create. And I am speaking this clearly so that you no longer live under the weight of lies that tell you you are unworthy, that you are too far gone, that you are beyond my reach. For those lies are chains meant to keep you from stepping into freedom. But I am breaking those chains with my word now, declaring over you that you are redeemed, declaring over you that you are beloved, declaring over you that you are accepted, and urging you to let go of the fear that keeps you hiding, because I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for your willingness, your yes, your openness to let me heal what is broken, restore what is missing, and ignite what has grown cold. And if you will respond, you will discover that my embrace was never conditional, my presence was never distant, my heart was never closed, and my mercy has been chasing you all along, preparing to lift you out of shame and clothe you in honor, to take the ashes of regret and exchange them for crowns of joy, to remove garments of heaviness and replace them with robes of praise. And I say with urgency, come boldly, not trembling in fear but running into the arms that already welcomed you. The arms stretched wide on the cross that proved once and for all that nothing could separate you from me. And as you step closer, you will feel the weight of false guilt break. You will feel the lies lose their grip. You will feel the warmth of my acceptance wrap around you until you can finally breathe freely again. And you will know that what I desire is not flawless effort, but faithful surrender, not rigid striving but resting in my love, not hiding your weakness but trusting me to be strong in it. And when you grasp this, when you finally see that I never asked you to be perfect, you will be liberated to walk in joy, to serve with confidence, to love without fear, because you will know that I am not condemning you. I am redeeming you, not rejecting you. I am restoring you, not accusing you. I am affirming you, and this truth will anchor you when the enemy tries again to whisper lies, because you will remember my voice. You will feel my embrace. You will know my love that never fails, and you will rise in freedom, walking boldly into the calling that has always been yours. For you are mine, and I will never let go. The reason I am pressing upon your spirit with such urgency is because time is moving faster than you perceive, and what feels like ordinary days are in fact critical moments shaping the future that lies ahead. For seasons are shifting, opportunities are aligning, and destinies are being finalized, and I cannot allow you to drift in complacency while the hour demands alertness, for there is a narrowing of the path, a tightening of the window, a call that requires immediate response, and I am sounding the alarm not to frighten you but to awaken you, because what you delay in obedience today could cost blessings tomorrow, and what you postpone in surrender now could hinder breakthroughs appointed for this generation. So hear me clearly. You cannot treat lightly the stirring you feel. You cannot silence the urgency in your heart. You cannot push away the weight you sense in my words, for it is not ordinary. It is not coincidence. It is not imagination. It is my spirit confronting you with the reality that eternity is breaking into your present and calling you to act. For while the world distracts itself with noise and shadows, I am opening your eyes to see that my timing is unfolding with precision, and you must align quickly. You must yield immediately. You must move with decisiveness, because hesitation will leave you unprepared. Hesitation will leave you vulnerable. Hesitation will leave you outside of doors I am unlocking, and I love you too much to let you miss what has been designed for you. So I am urging you to shake off the sleep of indifference, to throw aside the excuses that have slowed you, to silence the voices that keep telling you to wait, for the waiting is over. The preparation has been long enough. The testing has reached its completion, and now the time demands action. The moment requires faith. The season calls for courage, and I am releasing this word into you like fire so that you will not sit idly while heaven is moving, so that you will not waste precious hours while destinies are being sealed, so that you will not cling to comfort when I am drawing you into fulfillment. For I tell you this with love, but also with seriousness. Tomorrow is not promised. Later is not guaranteed. Delay is not safe. And I need you to act as if the moment is now, because it truly is. And if you will respond, if you will move, if you will surrender without hesitation, you will find that my timing brings acceleration, that what seemed impossible suddenly opens, that what seemed delayed suddenly arrives, that what seemed out of reach suddenly falls into your hands, and you will understand that urgency was never meant to burden you but to protect you, to save you from distraction, to keep you aligned with destiny. And so I am speaking firmly, passionately, clearly. The time is now. The hour is here. The moment is upon you. And I am waiting for your yes, for your obedience, for your surrender. Because what I release next cannot be delayed, cannot be ignored, cannot be postponed. It must be embraced, and it must be embraced by you. Doors are already swinging open before you. Thresholds are being revealed, and assignments are being placed within reach. But they are not ordinary opportunities that can be taken lightly, for these are pivotal alignments that carry weight for generations, and they require you to step with discernment, to move with readiness, to act with faith that does not waver, because what lies ahead will not wait indefinitely. And I am telling you with urgency that this moment calls for preparation of heart, sharpening of spirit, and cleansing of vision, because the places I am bringing you into demand more than casual belief. They require absolute trust. They require courage that will not falter under pressure. They require obedience that does not hesitate even when the path feels unfamiliar. And I need you to understand that the unfolding of these doors is not random favor, but deliberate timing. For everything you endured before was training for what is being released now. Every hardship was shaping resilience. Every test was forging character. Every hidden season was teaching endurance. And now those lessons must be carried into action. For what I am setting before you cannot be entered by half-heartedness. It must be embraced fully. And you must walk through boldly, knowing that hesitation will cost more than you realize. For opportunities of destiny are not casual invitations. They are holy summons that reshape futures. And I am warning you not to allow fear to paralyze you when I present what is next. For fear will whisper that you are not ready, that you are unworthy, that you are incapable. But I am declaring over you that I have already equipped you, that I have already poured strength into your spirit, that I have already surrounded you with what you need to succeed. And though the task ahead feels greater than your ability, it is designed that way so you will not rely on your own strength, but on mine. So you will not boast in your own wisdom, but in my faithfulness. So you will not move by sight, but by revelation. And I say urgently that the opportunities coming are not just about you. They are about those connected to you, those who will be impacted by your obedience, those whose deliverance is tied to your yes, those whose healing is connected to your courage, those whose breakthrough will begin the moment you step into what I am asking. And that is why this call cannot be delayed, why this invitation cannot be ignored, why this door cannot be left unopened, because it carries consequence beyond yourself. It carries weight beyond your present moment, and it requires urgency, focus, and unwavering faith. And as you prepare to walk forward, know this: I am not asking you to do it alone. I am not sending you without provision. I am not thrusting you into uncertainty without guidance, for my Spirit goes before you, clearing the way. My angels are encamped around you, guarding the path, and my presence will remain within you, empowering each step. And if you will trust me enough to move, you will see that the doors I open are not like human doors. They are gates of destiny that once walked through will never close again, and what you carry through them will change lives, shift atmospheres, and release my glory in ways you never imagined. So I urge you now, beloved, do not linger, do not delay, do not second guess, for the doors are here, the time is now, and your readiness determines how far and how quickly you will go, and I will not allow what I have set in motion for you to be wasted if you will simply obey. If you ignore the sound of my voice in this critical hour, the cost will be far greater than you imagine, for neglecting what I am releasing is not simply about losing a moment. It is about forfeiting assignments that ripple through generations. It is about delaying answers that others have prayed for. It is about leaving gaps in places where you were meant to stand as light, and I cannot allow you to treat lightly what carries eternal significance. So I speak with weight in my words. Do not dismiss this as if it were optional. Do not push aside what I am pressing upon your heart. Do not convince yourself that you will have endless chances, because choices made in this season determine outcomes that stretch far beyond your immediate life. And I am warning you with love that disobedience now will create battles that were never necessary, detours that were never meant for you, delays that will grieve your spirit. But on the other hand, obedience now will accelerate what has been held back, will open doors that no man can close, will release blessings that have been waiting for the moment of your surrender, and I long for you to experience the fullness of what I have prepared rather than suffer the weight of missed opportunity, which is why my tone is urgent, which is why my spirit is relentless in stirring you, which is why you cannot shake the pull you feel in your inner being, because I refuse to let you walk blindly into traps when I have already provided the path of freedom. And I need you to recognize that what stands before you is not simply a personal choice but a turning point with eternal implications. For others will be impacted by whether or not you step forward. Lives will be touched or left waiting depending on your response. Chains will be broken or left intact depending on your obedience. And that is why I am speaking without pause, pressing without restraint, calling with intensity, because I know what is at stake and I will not let you drift carelessly while destinies hang in the balance. And so I say, awaken fully, hear me clearly, act decisively, for delay will cost more than you can see, but obedience will release more than you have dreamed, and the difference lies in your willingness to respond now, not tomorrow, not when it feels easier, but now while the door stands open, while the invitation is extended, while the window of opportunity remains unclosed, for there is a moment where grace aligns everything in your favor, and you are standing in such a moment, but it must be seized with urgency, for it will not remain indefinitely. And I love you too much to watch you let it pass without warning. I love you too much to remain silent while the enemy whispers lies of delay. I love you too much to allow you to exchange eternal inheritance for temporary comfort. So hear me with reverence. Respond while the moment is here. Act while the door is open. Step while the Spirit is stirring. Because to ignore this call is to forfeit treasures prepared in advance, but to embrace it is to step into fulfillment that will not only change your life, but echo into eternity. Your willingness to obey in this moment will not only shape your own life, but will secure blessings that extend far beyond you. For the choices you make in faith now will carve pathways for those who come after you, and generations will eat fruit from the seeds you plant today, which is why I press so urgently upon your heart. Because the ripple of your obedience is far greater than what your eyes can see, and the impact of your surrender will outlive you, influencing children not yet born, impacting families you have not yet met, shaping communities that will be touched by the legacy of your yes. And I need you to realize that heaven looks upon your decisions with seriousness, because each act of faith becomes a foundation stone for future victories, each sacrifice becomes a testimony that others will stand upon. Each courageous step creates momentum that will deliver others from fear, and I am telling you now with all the weight of eternity. When you obey me quickly, you do not just position yourself for favor. You position your entire lineage to walk in promises, for the inheritance I release is never limited to one person. It flows through generations, and what you do in this hour has the power to break cycles of pain that have lasted for decades, to dismantle strongholds that bound those before you, to rewrite patterns that seemed unbreakable, and to establish new beginnings of freedom that your descendants will enjoy. So do not think this is only about you, beloved, for your yes is the key that unlocks doors for many others. Your surrender is the turning point for people you may never meet. Your faith is the answer to prayers whispered long before you, and I have chosen you in this moment to stand in the gap, to take the step, to say the word, to walk through the opening, because what you do now will echo through time, and I am urging you with intensity. Do not underestimate the weight of your obedience. Do not belittle the power of your choice. Do not think it is small or insignificant, for I am a God who multiplies faith, who honors courage, who remembers sacrifice, and I will cause your yes to reverberate far beyond your years, creating streams of blessing that flow long after you are gone. And even as you act now, angels are dispatched, futures are rewritten, histories are redeemed, because I delight to take the obedience of one and transform the destiny of many. So rise up with boldness, act with urgency, move with confidence, for your faith in this hour is not just shaping your own story. It is shaping history. It is shaping legacy. It is shaping eternity, and the harvest will be greater than you can measure. For I will cause the generations after you to testify that because you said yes, they walked in freedom, because you obeyed, they lived in victory, because you trusted, they saw my glory, and all of heaven rejoices at the power of what is being released through your obedience today. The petitions you lifted in moments of desperation, the words you whispered through trembling lips, the long nights where you pleaded for answers you thought never came, those cries have never been ignored, for they have been building in the chambers of heaven, gathering weight, gaining momentum, and now the season has arrived when those petitions are being released, not as small responses but as waves of fulfillment that will overwhelm you with goodness. For I heard every syllable even when you thought no one listened. I collected every request even when you felt they vanished into silence. I remembered every plea even when years passed without visible change. And I want you to know urgently that none of your prayers disappeared into emptiness. They were preserved, stored, guarded, waiting for the appointed time. And the time is now unfolding. For I have been aligning circumstances, shaping hearts, moving nations, orchestrating details you could never have arranged. And the answers you thought were denied are being delivered in ways beyond what you envisioned. For I never said no when you thought I did. I said wait. I said trust. I said hold on, because the scale of what I intended required timing that matched perfection, and I would not allow premature release to rob you of the fullness of the promise. And I am declaring with urgency that what seemed like unanswered prayer was actually delayed fulfillment, and now the heavens are opening to pour out responses greater than you dreamed. For I am not returning small fragments but overflowing measures, not partial glimpses but complete manifestations, not crumbs but feasts. And you will see with your own eyes that my memory of your prayers is flawless, that I have forgotten none, that I am faithful to each word you ever trusted me with. And when the answers arrive, you will stand in awe, realizing that the waiting was not wasted, that the silence was not abandonment, that the delay was not rejection, but that all along I was preparing something that could only be delivered in this moment, at this scale, in this way. And others will marvel when they hear your testimony, for they will see the connection between the tears you once shed and the blessings now overflowing. They will see the link between your prayers of weakness and my demonstrations of strength, and they will understand through your life that I am a God who never ignores, who never discards, who never turns a deaf ear to those who call upon me. And I urge you now to prepare, to enlarge your faith, to lift your expectation, for the answers coming are not small, they are not fragile, they are not temporary, they are abundant, they are lasting, they are life-altering, and they are being released even now. And soon you will testify that the God who heard you in silence has answered you in power, and your joy will overflow because the very things you thought were forgotten have been remembered in fullness. The waiting you endured was never a denial but a process of refining, a preparation for greater fulfillment that could not be rushed. For there were layers of growth required, foundations that needed strengthening, and alignments that had to be completed before I could release what you longed for. And I need you to see with urgency that the delays you despised were in fact protections, shielding you from receiving too soon what would have broken you rather than blessed you. For a gift given prematurely becomes a weight instead of a joy. But I in my wisdom refused to release until the fullness of time arrived, until your spirit was ready to carry it, until the environment around you was ready to sustain it, until the people connected to it were in place to support it. And though you thought I was silent, I was working intricately behind the scenes, weaving threads together, setting pieces in order, ranging what human eyes could not detect, so that when the appointed moment arrived, you would not only receive what you asked for but receive it in wholeness, without sorrow attached, without destruction hidden inside, without regret entangled in the blessing. And I declare to you now, that moment is here, that appointed season is dawning, that which was held back is being released in perfection, and you will soon see that my timing is never late, that my delays are never cruel, that my waiting is never neglect, but always love working for your ultimate good. And though your heart grew weary and you thought nothing was moving, I was moving mountains unseen. I was softening hearts you could not reach. I was opening doors hidden from view. I was aligning circumstances across distance and time, and now those alignments are converging. Now those prayers are manifesting. Now those promises are awakening, and you will look back and realize with awe that the years you called wasted were in fact the very years I was preparing the stage for your breakthrough. And not one moment was meaningless. Not one tear was in vain. Not one day was without purpose, for all of it has brought you to this place where you can carry with strength what once you only desired with longing. And I urge you now to embrace this with faith, to step into this with confidence, to trust fully that I know what I am doing, for the delay has ended and the release is beginning, and what comes now will make you forget the anguish of waiting, as joy overwhelms sorrow, as laughter replaces mourning, as fulfillment swallows disappointment, and you will testify not only that I kept my word but that I exceeded your expectation, for I always give more than you imagine. I always prepare better than you envision. I always deliver in ways that reveal my glory, and you will see with your own eyes that the delay was never a denial. It was my preparation for something greater than you thought possible. I am even now arranging people around you, positioning hearts, shifting relationships, and realigning connections, for you are not meant to walk into the next chapter alone, and I am orchestrating a divine exchange in your life, bringing in those whose presence will strengthen you, while removing those whose influence would only weaken or delay you. And though at times it feels painful to see certain individuals fade from your journey, I need you to understand urgently that subtraction is sometimes my greatest protection, for I see intentions you cannot see. I discern motives hidden behind smiles. I know paths that appear supportive but would secretly drain you, and I will not allow voices of compromise to accompany you into places of promise. So I am cleansing your circle, refining your atmosphere, adjusting your relationships so that what is ahead can be carried with clarity and strength. And while your heart may struggle with loss, I assure you that what looks like separation is preservation, what feels like rejection is actually redirection, what seems like abandonment is in fact alignment, because I never remove without purpose. I never shift without reason. I never distance you from people unless I am preparing to surround you with better. And I am saying to you now with urgency, trust me in this process. For every door I close is shielding you from harm. Every tie I cut is breaking chains you could not see. Every person I distance is making space for new relationships that will water your spirit instead of draining it. And you will find that the ones I am bringing are those who carry encouragement instead of envy, faith instead of fear, truth instead of manipulation. And their presence will push you closer to me, not pull you away. For I am building a company around you that will sharpen your faith, confirm your calling, and walk beside you into destiny. And I urge you not to cling to what I am removing, not to chase what I am releasing, not to mourn what I am protecting you from. For in time you will see clearly that my hand was guiding you, and you will thank me for doors I shut as much as for doors I opened, and you will bless me for friendships I ended as much as for those I gave, because I know what you need. I know who belongs. I know who will help you carry the mantle I have placed on your life. And I will not allow you to step into the next level weighed down by attachments that cannot handle the glory coming. So let go with trust, release with faith, walk forward with peace, for I am bringing alignment in relationships, and those I add will lift you, cover you, strengthen you, and walk in unity with you, while those I remove will no longer have power to distract you. And this is my mercy, this is my preparation, this is my urgency. For the people around you matter to the fulfillment of your calling, and I am ensuring that those who remain are those who will help you soar and not clip your wings. Do not misinterpret the removal of people from your life as abandonment, for what feels like loss is actually my hand shielding you from unseen snares, and though the severing of ties may sting, it is an act of deep love, for I see traps long before you stumble into them. I see compromises that would have drained your purpose. I see alliances that would have entangled you in cycles of pain, and I am stepping in decisively to protect your heart and preserve your calling, and I need you to hear me with urgency. When I strip away relationships that look beneficial on the surface, it is because I know what lies beneath. When I take you out of environments that feel comfortable, it is because those places would have suffocated your growth. When I distance you from voices you once trusted, it is because their words were steering you off the path I laid for you, and I cannot allow your destiny to be jeopardized by attachments that cannot carry the weight of the future I am unveiling. So though your emotions wrestle, though your flesh resists, though your mind questions, trust that my hand is sovereign. Trust that my wisdom is flawless. Trust that my motives are always rooted in love, and know that I never strip away without replacing. I never prune without producing fruit. I never close doors without preparing better ones to open, and what you call endings are actually beginnings in disguise. For I am carving away the branches that bear no life so that new growth can flourish. I am severing ties that choke your spirit so that you may breathe freely again. I am clearing the atmosphere so that you can hear my voice without distortion. And I am urging you not to fight me in this, not to cling desperately to what I am removing, not to grieve endlessly over what I am cutting off, but to lift your eyes with expectation, because what I am about to bring will make sense of the emptiness you feel now. What I am about to release will heal the ache of what you lost. What I am about to provide will restore far more than what was taken. And soon you will look back and realize that I did not take to harm you but to protect you. I did not remove to wound you but to heal you. I did not distance you from some to leave you alone but to position you rightly, and I speak this with urgency. Trust the pruning, trust the removal, trust the separation, for it is the very act that is saving you from destruction you cannot yet see, and when you yield to my hand, you will find yourself lighter, freer, stronger, clearer, ready for the assignments ahead, ready for the people I am sending, ready for the blessings I am releasing, and you will rejoice that I loved you enough to intervene, that I cared enough to cut away what could not stay, that I guarded you fiercely even when you did not understand, for I am your Father, your shepherd, your protector, and I will never stop shielding you from harm, even if for a season it feels like loss. You are stepping into a chapter that demands a strength beyond your natural ability, for what lies ahead cannot be carried with human determination alone, and that is why I have been stretching you, refining you, and pressing you, because I am building resilience in your spirit that will withstand pressures greater than anything you have known before. And though at times you felt overwhelmed by the intensity, I want you to realize with urgency that every challenge has been preparing you for this moment. Every trial has been fortifying your inner man. Every test has been training you for endurance, because the calling before you is not small. The weight of glory I am placing upon you is not ordinary, and you cannot step into it with shallow roots. So I have allowed storms to deepen your foundation. I have permitted fires to purify your motives. I have let resistance strengthen your resolve, not because I wished you harm, but because I knew that greater assignments require greater capacity. And I am telling you now that the next phase of your journey will require courage that does not crumble under pressure, faith that does not flinch in the face of opposition, and obedience that does not hesitate when the path looks impossible. And I am already pouring into you what is needed. I am already clothing you with new strength. I am already filling you with a boldness you did not have before. For I will not send you unprepared. I will not thrust you into battle without equipping you. I will not call you into assignments without empowering you to succeed. And I want you to know urgently that you are more ready than you think, more capable than you feel, more equipped than you realize, because my spirit within you is the source of your strength, not your own effort, not your own wisdom, not your own strategy, but my power alive in you. And I assure you that no weight I place upon you will crush you, for I also provide the grace to carry it. No responsibility I assign will overwhelm you, for I also provide the anointing to fulfill it. No calling I release will defeat you, for I also provide the authority to complete it. And though your flesh may tremble, Your spirit is rising, though your mind may question. Your heart is being strengthened, though your emotions may waver. Your faith is being secured, and I say to you now, step forward without fear. Embrace what I am placing in your hands. Walk into the unknown with confidence, because the greater the demand, the greater the supply of my spirit, the greater the assignment, the greater the flow of my grace, and you will discover that what once felt impossible is now natural because I have enlarged your capacity. And as you walk in this new chapter, others will see a resilience they cannot explain, a courage that inspires them, a faith that ignites them, and they will know that it is not you, but I living through you. For my power is being perfected in your weakness, and you will testify that it was never your strength, but mine that carried you into destiny. That is why I am giving you a fresh measure of power through my Spirit. For what is coming cannot be handled by your own resources, and what is unfolding cannot be sustained by natural wisdom. So I am pouring into you strength from above, the kind that does not wither under pressure, the kind that does not faint in adversity, the kind that does not collapse when storms intensify. And I am doing this now with urgency because the assignments ahead require supernatural ability, not human effort. And I will not allow you to enter those places empty-handed. So I am clothing you with authority. I am filling you with discernment. I am igniting you with boldness, and I am breathing upon you fresh fire that cannot be quenched. And I want you to recognize that this is not emotion, not temporary zeal, not passing excitement, but divine empowerment that anchors you beyond feelings, sustains you beyond circumstances, and carries you through every battle. For my spirit within you is not weak, not hesitant, not fragile, but unshakable, immovable, unstoppable, and I am urging you to lean upon him fully, to stop measuring your capacity by what you think you can do, and to begin to measure by what my Spirit can do through you, because where your strength ends, his begins. Where your wisdom falls short, his flows without limit. Where your courage fades, his surges like a river. And I tell you with urgency, you will face moments soon where natural ability will not be enough, where intellect will not provide answers, where human strategy will fail, but in those moments you will not be left helpless, for my Spirit will rise within you with solutions you did not know, with peace you did not expect, with courage you did not feel, and you will walk forward with authority that silences doubt, confounds the enemy, and shifts atmospheres, and people will look at you and see resilience they cannot explain, power they cannot define, faith they cannot comprehend, and they will know it is not of man but of God. And I am doing this so that you will never boast in yourself, but always boast in me, so that your testimony will be clear. It was not my strength, but his, not my ability, but his presence, not my wisdom, but his Spirit. And in this way my glory will shine through your weakness, my power will be magnified through your limitations, my name will be exalted through your obedience. And I speak with urgency now, yield to my Spirit fully. Do not resist his stirring, do not silence his whisper. Do not grieve his leading, for he is your helper, your comforter, your teacher, your strengthener, and he is the guarantee that you will not fall, the assurance that you will overcome, the promise that you will complete the race set before you. And if you will walk by him, if you will trust him, if you will lean into him, you will see that nothing can stop what I have set in motion through your life. For greater is he within you than any opposition around you, and his power will carry you where your own effort never could. You will not face the battles that are ahead in isolation, for I myself will surround you with forces unseen, armies of heaven that move at my command, warriors of light who stand guard over those I have marked. And I need you to grasp with urgency that you are never alone, even when it feels as though the world has turned against you. For in the unseen realm hosts are stationed around your life, surrounding your steps, protecting your path, and intercepting dangers before they can reach you. And though your natural eyes cannot perceive them, your spirit must awaken to this reality. You are covered by defenses that the enemy cannot penetrate, shielded by a wall of presence that cannot be broken, and accompanied by messengers of fire who move at the sound of my word. And I am reminding you of this truth because fear has tried to convince you that you are outnumbered. But fear has lied to you. For what is with you is greater than what is against you, and the adversary's threats are empty compared to the legions I have appointed to guard your destiny. So even in the darkest hour you are not exposed. Even in the fiercest attack you are not abandoned. Even in the most vulnerable season, you are not unprotected, for heaven's armies are at your side. And I declare to you now with urgency, walk with courage, walk with boldness, walk with confidence, for every step you take is watched by my angels. Every word you speak is reinforced by my power. Every prayer you whisper is echoed by heavenly hosts. And I am the commander who ensures their victory. I am the Lord of hosts who never loses a battle. I am the King who leads an army that has never been defeated. And I assure you that nothing formed against you will stand. No weapon designed for your harm will succeed. No trap set for your downfall will prosper, because I have already surrounded you with protection greater than anything your adversary can create. And you must let this truth break fear's grip. Let this revelation silence intimidation. Let this awareness strengthen your resolve, because you are not fighting alone. I am fighting with you. Heaven is fighting for you. And the outcome has already been secured, for my power reigns, my authority stands, and my word cannot fail. And as you walk forward into the days ahead, remember always that unseen armies march beside you, and they will carry you through dangers you never knew were there, deliver you from threats you never saw, and bring you safely into the fulfillment I promised, because my covering is unbreakable, my protection is unshakable, and my presence is unmovable. And I am declaring urgently, fear not, for you are surrounded. Every strategy that has been designed against you, every plan crafted in secret, every trap laid with precision has already been broken before it could reach you. For I am declaring over your life with urgency that no scheme of the adversary will succeed. No curse spoken will take root. No weapon formed will have power, because I dismantle plots before they unfold. I scatter enemies before they gather strength. I nullify accusations before they strike. And I want you to know with certainty that you are shielded by a covenant that cannot be breached, sealed by blood that cannot be undone, covered by promises that cannot be revoked. And though opposition rises and threats increase, their efforts will collapse under the weight of my authority. For I sit above every throne. I reign over every ruler. I silence every liar. And I overturn every verdict spoken against you. And I tell you urgently that the fear you feel when storms surround you is misplaced, for those storms are powerless against the decree I have spoken. Those winds cannot blow down what I have established. Those floods cannot drown what I have secured. And you must learn to see beyond appearances, because the intimidation of darkness is only smoke and shadow compared to the brilliance of my light. And though accusations rise like arrows, they shatter before they touch you. Though threats sound like thunder, they dissolve into silence before they harm you. Though snares are hidden in your path, they are uncovered and destroyed before you step into them. And this is not because you are strong enough on your own, but because I am faithful. I am protective. I am relentless in guarding those who belong to me. And I want you to walk in the freedom of this knowledge. You are untouchable in my hands. You are unassailable under my covering. You are unshakable in my presence. And nothing designed for your destruction can cross the line I have drawn around you. So rise in courage. Speak with confidence. Move without hesitation. For every scheme has already been overturned. Every enemy has already been defeated. Every lie has already been silenced. And your path is secured by my decree. Your destiny preserved by my hand. Your future safeguarded by my authority. And I say to you now with urgency, walk as one who knows they cannot be defeated. Live as one who knows they cannot be destroyed. Stand as one who knows they are covered by an unbreakable shield, because the victory has already been declared, and you are walking in triumph even before the battle begins. What appears to be frailty in your life, what looks like insufficiency in your eyes, what feels like a limitation that hinders you, is in fact the very stage upon which my greatness will be displayed, for I have never required perfection from you. I have required surrender. And when you yield even the weakest parts of yourself into my hands, they become vessels through which my strength flows unhindered. And I speak this with urgency so you no longer despise your fragility or shrink back from the places where you feel inadequate, for those are the very areas I delight to inhabit, the very spaces I choose to fill, the very cracks where my light shines through most clearly. And though the world teaches you to hide your flaws, I call you to offer them to me. For what you call weakness, I call opportunity. What you call insufficiency, I call space for miracles. What you call brokenness, I call beauty redeemed. And I am urging you now to stop comparing yourself to others. to stop disqualifying yourself in your mind, to stop saying, "I cannot," when I have already decreed, "You will," because your limitation is not a barrier to me. It is the invitation for me to reveal myself powerfully through you. And when others see your life, they will marvel not at your capability, but at my ability shining through your yieldedness. They will recognize that what you carried was impossible apart from me. They will acknowledge that my glory rests upon you because no human effort could have accomplished what is being done. And I am telling you now, embrace your dependence upon me, for it is not failure to need me. It is wisdom. It is not weakness to lean upon me. It is faith. It is not shameful to admit your lack. It is the very place where heaven meets earth. And I want you to see urgently that my design has always been to magnify strength through what the world calls weakness, to magnify life through what the world calls death, to magnify hope through what the world calls despair. And you are a living demonstration of this reality. For though you feel insufficient, I will cause your life to overflow. Though you feel fragile, I will cause you to stand unshaken. Though you feel unworthy, I will crown you with honor, and through you I will silence the mouths of accusers. I will confound the wisdom of the proud. I will lift the heads of the broken, and I will remind the world that I do not choose the qualified. I qualify the chosen. I do not call the flawless. I transform the surrendered. I do not require the strong. I empower the willing, and I say to you with urgency, do not run from your weakness. Do not cover your lack. Do not despise your vulnerability. For it is the very place my spirit rests. It is the very stage my power is displayed. It is the very evidence that what is unfolding in your life is not by might, not by power, but by my spirit. And in this truth you will walk confidently, knowing that your weakness has become the proof of my strength. I am about to transform the hidden scars you carry into radiant testimonies that will release freedom in others. For the wounds you thought disqualified you, the pain you tried to bury, the shame you hoped no one would see will soon become the very evidence of my redeeming power. And I am telling you urgently that nothing you endured has been wasted. Not the betrayals, not the rejections, not the losses, not the failures. For I am weaving them into a story that will carry authority. And when you speak, people will listen because they will recognize authenticity. They will sense the depth of someone who has walked through fire yet was not consumed, who has endured storms yet still stands, who has faced despair yet lives with hope, and they will realize that the only explanation for your survival, your restoration, your strength is me, and I will cause your scars to shine with a beauty that can no longer be hidden, and instead of being marks of shame, they will be banners of victory, proclamations of grace, reminders of deliverance, and your life will carry healing for those who feel broken, for they will look at you and know that if I did it for you, I can do it for them. And this is why I am urging you not to despise your scars, not to cover them, not to live in silence, for they are the evidence of battles won, the proof of grace received, the testimony of endurance that will break chains in others. And I will use your story in ways you cannot yet imagine, placing your voice in rooms you never expected, sending your words into hearts that are desperate for hope, and the very areas where you thought you were ruined will become the places of your greatest impact. And you will watch with awe as lives are changed by the power of your testimony, because I have chosen to redeem every detail, to write every painful chapter, to turn every broken piece into a masterpiece that glorifies me. And I tell you urgently, nothing will be wasted, not a moment, not a tear, not a scar, for I redeem completely, I restore fully, I transform entirely, and I am declaring over you that your scars will not define your weakness but my strength. They will not declare your ruin but my redemption. They will not whisper defeat but shout victory. And you will walk as a living testimony that no wound is too deep for me to heal, no story is too broken for me to rewrite, no past is too scarred for me to restore. And the world will see through you that I am the God who makes all things new, the God who turns ashes into beauty, the God who takes what was shattered and builds something greater than before. And I am urging you now, rise in confidence, share boldly, testify freely, for your scars are no longer your shame, they are your crown, and through them my glory will shine. Your journey will not conclude in disgrace, nor will your story fade into defeat, for I have already written the ending, and it is one of triumph that will magnify my name. And I am declaring this with urgency so that you silence the lies that whisper your best days are gone, your purpose is finished, or your future is lost. For those voices do not come from me. They come from the enemy who fears what is about to unfold in your life, because he sees what you cannot yet see. That your latter season will carry greater glory than anything behind you. That your path is leading not to despair but to victory, not to emptiness but to fulfillment, not to darkness but to radiant light. And though you have walked through valleys that seemed endless, though you have endured setbacks that felt crushing, though you have tasted sorrow that weighed heavily on your heart, none of it has the power to define your conclusion, because I am the author and finisher, and I do not write endings in shame but in glory. I do not leave stories unfinished, but bring them to completion. I do not abandon vessels midway but carry them until the testimony is full, and I assure you now that even what looks like loss will be reversed into gain. Even what felt like failure will be transformed into triumph. Even what seemed like wasted time will be redeemed into a season of acceleration. And the very people who doubted you, who dismissed you, who mocked your struggle will witness the turnaround I bring. They will see with their own eyes that I exalt those who humble themselves, that I lift those who trust in me, that I crown those who endure. And your life will be a visible sign that I never forsake those who belong to me. And I need you to embrace this truth urgently. Your destiny is not to end in defeat, but to rise into victory. Your inheritance is not to sit in ashes, but to stand in beauty. Your identity is not failure, but redeemed child of the King. And when I lift you, no one will push you down. When I crown you, no one will strip it away. When I establish you, no one will uproot you. For my decree over you cannot be undone, and soon the testimony of your life will echo louder than the accusations against you. The evidence of my hand upon you will silence the critics, and the brilliance of my redemption will overshadow the scars of your past, and you will know deep within that I always intended for your story to finish in glory, that every page of pain was preparation for this final chapter of victory, that every detour was shaping the strength you would need for the fulfillment. And I urge you now, do not give in to despair. Do not believe the lie that says your ending is defeat. Do not measure your future by what you feel in this moment, but hold fast to my word, for I have decreed that your life will testify of victory, that your story will shine with hope, that your conclusion will glorify me, and no scheme of the enemy can rewrite what I have already sealed. Your story ends in triumph. Even those who questioned your journey, those who spoke against you, those who doubted your faithfulness will stand as witnesses to what I am about to release over your life. For I will not only vindicate you privately, but elevate you publicly. And the tables will turn in ways you did not expect, because I am the one who brings justice to the humble and honor to the faithful, and I say this with urgency. Do not concern yourself with the opinions of people. Do not waste energy trying to defend yourself before critics. Do not live in fear of their judgment, for I myself will defend you. I myself will prove you. I myself will demonstrate through undeniable favor that you are mine. And when I lift you, no voice of accusation will be able to drown out the evidence of my hand. And those who once dismissed you will be forced to acknowledge that only I could have carried you here. And though their words tried to cut you down, though their actions tried to block your way, I have been using even their opposition as part of the testimony, for without their doubt, the magnitude of my deliverance would not shine as brightly. Without their resistance, the strength of your endurance would not be as evident. Without their rejection, the depth of my acceptance would not be as powerful. And so I am turning what was meant to humiliate you into a stage for my glory. And I tell you urgently that I am not finished writing the story, for you will soon see those same voices who questioned you sit silent in the presence of my blessing. You will see those who tried to belittle you stand astonished at your rise. You will see those who thought you would collapse behold with their own eyes that I have established you firmly. And you will not need to fight for recognition, for I myself will make your life undeniable proof of my goodness, undeniable proof of my favor, undeniable proof of my faithfulness, and the testimony will not be just for you, but for them as well, for I will use your story to convict, to soften, to awaken, to remind them that I am God and that I exalt whom I choose, and I choose you, not because of human approval, not because of worldly credentials, not because of outward appearance, but because I look at the heart, and your heart belongs to me. And so I say urgently, lift your head. Do not be weighed down by criticism. Do not be chained by their disbelief. Do not let their rejection define you. For I have already defined you as mine. I have already sealed you with purpose. I have already decreed your rise, and no voice, no scheme, no accusation will stop what I am doing, and soon you will walk in such visible blessing that even your doubters will have no choice but to say, "Surely the Lord has done this." Do not allow fear to take root in your heart, for fear is the greatest thief of destiny, and its whispers are designed to paralyze you, to keep you standing still when I am calling you to move forward. And I speak this with urgency because fear has disguised itself as caution in your life, convincing you that hesitation is wisdom, persuading you that retreat is safety. But I say to you clearly, fear is not your friend. Fear is not your protection. Fear is not your guide. It is a chain forged by the enemy to hold you back from the fullness of what I have prepared. And if you continue to bow to it, you will miss doors that I am opening. You will miss battles that I have already given you victory in. You will miss assignments that are waiting for your yes. But I am breaking the chain now. I am exposing fear for what it is: a liar, a deceiver, a counterfeit that has no power except what you give it. And I am urging you to rise in courage, to stand in boldness, to step into faith even when your knees tremble, because courage is not the absence of fear but the decision to trust me above it. And if you fix your eyes on me instead of the storm, if you hold my hand instead of listening to the wind, you will see that fear collapses under the weight of my presence, for fear cannot survive where faith stands, and faith grows when you choose to move despite trembling, when you choose to obey despite uncertainty, when you choose to trust despite what you see. And I assure you now that every step you take in faith releases power, every word you speak in boldness silences the enemy, every act of courage advances the kingdom, and you will soon discover that fear was always smaller than it appeared, always weaker than it sounded, always powerless in the face of my spirit. And I tell you urgently, stop giving fear authority it does not deserve. Stop magnifying threats that have already been defeated. Stop bowing to shadows when the light of my truth is shining, for you are not a slave to fear. You are a child of the King, clothed in authority, filled with power, surrounded by victory, and nothing the enemy uses to intimidate you can overpower what I have placed within you. So stand firm, walk boldly, live freely, and declare with your life that fear has no hold, for I have not given you a spirit of fear but of power, love, and a sound mind. And in that truth you will walk into your destiny unshaken, unstoppable, unafraid. I am igniting within you a boldness that cannot be quenched, a holy fire that will drive you beyond hesitation and into realms you once thought impossible, for I am calling you not to survive quietly but to advance forcefully. And I say this with urgency because the season of hiding is over. The season of silence has ended. The season of shrinking back is finished. And now is the time to rise in full authority, to walk in full confidence, to speak in full conviction. For I have not created you to blend into the background, but to stand as a beacon, and I will give you words that pierce through confusion, actions that dismantle darkness, and presence that carries my glory. And you will find that doors open not because of earthly influence but because of heavenly assignment. And when you step into them you will not enter timidly but with the assurance that I sent you, the assurance that I go with you, the assurance that I have equipped you for this very hour. And I need you to know urgently that timidity will not serve you where I am sending you, hesitation will not serve you where I am placing you, compromise will not serve you where I am establishing you, for these are places where boldness will break barriers, where courage will silence intimidation, where faith will shift atmospheres. And though the enemy has long tried to convince you that you are too small, too unqualified, too unprepared, I am declaring that his lies end here. For you will walk clothed in authority, you will move covered in anointing, you will speak backed by heaven, and you will watch as obstacles collapse before you, not because of your strength but because of the fire I have placed inside of you. And that fire will not dim, it will not flicker, it will not fade, for I myself am its source. And as long as you remain surrendered, it will grow stronger, it will burn brighter, it will spread wider, until everything around you is touched by its light. And I say to you with urgency, do not contain this flame, do not hide this fire, do not silence this voice, for the world needs what I have placed within you. And if you release it, captives will be set free, blind eyes will open, hardened hearts will soften, and entire atmospheres will shift because of the fire you carry. So rise in boldness, walk in courage, burn brightly without apology, for this is your time to stand, and I will be with you in every step. I am positioning you in places where your voice will carry influence far greater than you imagined, for I did not create you to remain hidden in shadows but to release light in the midst of darkness, and I say this urgently because the opportunities approaching will demand that you speak with clarity, that you act with conviction, that you stand without compromise, for these are not ordinary platforms being prepared for you. They are divine assignments designed for impact beyond your reach, and though you once thought your words would only echo within small circles, I am expanding your territory so that your testimony resounds in places of power, so that your faith is seen where unbelief once dominated, so that your courage is displayed in arenas where fear has silenced many. And I need you to understand that this expansion is not for self-exaltation but for the release of my truth. And you must treat it with reverence, with focus, with readiness, because I am trusting you with influence that carries eternal weight. And this is why I have trained you through hidden seasons, why I have tested you in silence, why I have refined your character in obscurity. For I was building integrity that fame cannot corrupt, humility that success cannot distort, and perseverance that applause cannot weaken. And now that the time has come to step forward, you must not shrink back as though unworthy, for I have qualified you, I have anointed you, I have prepared you, and I am saying urgently, do not allow insecurity to silence you when I am commanding you to speak. Do not allow fear to keep you seated when I am calling you to stand. Do not allow doubt to restrain you when I am pushing you into new ground. For the places I am sending you require bold representation of my kingdom, and I will give you wisdom that cuts through confusion, words that pierce through deception, and authority that shifts entire environments. And though opposition will rise, though critics will scoff, though resistance will push back, none of it will withstand the fire I place upon your words, the weight I place upon your presence, the power I release through your obedience, and you will see that doors open not because of your name but because of mine, that audiences listen not because of eloquence but because of anointing, that transformation happens not because of charisma but because of truth carried with power. And I urge you now to walk into this season without timidity, to embrace influence without pride, to carry responsibility without fear. For this is not about status, it is about stewardship, not about recognition, but about revelation, not about platforms, but about purpose. And if you remain surrendered, I will use you to shift atmospheres, to release truth where deception reigned, to bring light where shadows lingered, and you will see with your own eyes that your life was prepared for such a time as this, and through you nations will be impacted, generations will be stirred, and my glory will be revealed in ways that no man can deny. You must understand that the expansion I am giving you is not without opposition, for whenever light enters territory long held by darkness, resistance will rise. Yet I tell you urgently that resistance is not a sign of failure but confirmation that you are advancing, that the ground beneath your feet is shifting, that the kingdom of darkness is being shaken, and I need you to see clearly that the adversary's attacks are not proof of weakness in you but fear in him, for he knows what I have placed within you. He knows the authority you carry. He knows the damage your obedience will cause to his schemes, and so he seeks to intimidate, to discourage, to distract. But you must not allow his tactics to sway you, for they are powerless when confronted with truth. They are empty when compared with my decree. They are shadows with no substance when faced with the brilliance of my presence. And I remind you urgently, the authority you carry is not fragile. The mantle upon you is not counterfeit. The anointing within you is not temporary. It is unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable, because it flows from me, and I do not give in part. I give in fullness, and what I have entrusted to you cannot be stolen unless you lay it down, cannot be diminished unless you surrender it, cannot be destroyed unless you walk away, and I have called you to hold it firmly, to wield it boldly, to walk in it daily, for you will soon find that resistance only strengthens your resolve, that attacks only sharpen your focus, that opposition only multiplies your influence, and what the enemy meant to hinder will instead accelerate you. For I turn every scheme against him. I transform every weapon into testimony. I flip every attack into advancement, and soon you will see that the very battles meant to stop you will become platforms that elevate you, and you will rise stronger, clearer, bolder, because you trusted me in the fire. And I urge you not to despise resistance, not to fear opposition, not to shrink in battle, for every clash you face is proof that you are advancing. Every struggle you endure is evidence that you are carrying weight. Every fight you encounter is a sign that you are walking in destiny. And I promise you that you will not be defeated, for I fight with you. I fight through you, and I fight for you. And victory has already been secured. So stand firm, remain unshaken, move forward with determination, for the opposition you see today is the confirmation that breakthrough is near, and soon you will testify that every resistance you faced was only the backdrop against which my power was revealed all the more. The weight of glory that is coming upon you is far greater than any trial you have endured, and I speak this with urgency because your heart has been weary under the pressure of constant battles. Yet I tell you that those very struggles have been preparing you to carry what is about to be released. For I never allow suffering without purpose. I never permit fire without refinement. I never allow shaking without establishing something greater. And you are about to see that the season of heaviness you endured was actually forging capacity in you to receive more than you once imagined. And though you cried out for relief, I was building resilience. Though you longed for escape, I was enlarging endurance. Though you begged for answers, I was deepening wisdom, and all of it was to prepare you for the mantle that is now being placed upon your shoulders, a mantle that requires strength forged through adversity, patience shaped through waiting, faith strengthened through trials, and I tell you now urgently, do not misinterpret your pain as wasted. Do not misinterpret your tears as unnoticed. Do not misinterpret your delays as neglect, for every moment has been seen, every prayer has been remembered, every trial has been recorded, and I will use them all to showcase my glory through you, and you will soon step into a measure of responsibility, of influence, of blessing that you could not have carried without this preparation, and it will become clear to you that nothing was random, nothing was meaningless, nothing was without reason, for I was weaving it all into a tapestry that will display beauty where ashes once were, and you will stand as living proof that I redeem, I restore, I resurrect, and the very areas where you thought you would break will be the areas from which strength will flow. The very places where you felt weakest will be the very places where power shines brightest, and the very seasons where you thought you were abandoned will be the very testimony that I was nearer than ever. And I urge you now, lift your eyes beyond the pain of yesterday, for what is coming will not be compared to what you endured. The weight of blessing will overshadow the memory of hardship. The measure of joy will swallow the echoes of sorrow. The fulfillment of promise will silence the cries of waiting, and you will look back and realize with awe that I was faithful through it all, that I was working even when you did not see, that I was building even when you thought everything was crumbling, and you will testify that the glory revealed was worth the journey endured, for what I am about to do will exceed imagination, and the trials will no longer define you. They will only magnify the triumph that I have prepared. The inheritance I am placing before you is not a fragile portion that fades with time, nor a temporary prize that can be stolen, but an eternal deposit that flows from my covenant, and I speak this urgently because you must recognize the weight of what is being entrusted into your hands. For too long you have measured blessing by material gain, by human applause, by fleeting outcomes, yet what I am giving you cannot be diminished by decay, cannot be erased by failure, cannot be undone by opposition, for it is rooted in my eternal promise, anchored in my unchanging word, and established in my everlasting kingdom, and I need you to see that the inheritance awaiting you is not only for your own joy but for generations that will follow, for what I pour into your life will not stop with you. It will flow through your family, it will mark your bloodline, it will shape legacies beyond your lifetime, and it will stand as a testimony that I keep covenant with those who walk in obedience. And I tell you urgently that you are standing on the threshold of release, where promises long spoken are about to manifest, where seeds sown in tears are about to spring forth in harvest, where prayers whispered in secret are about to be answered in ways that will astonish you. And when it comes, you will know that it was not earned by your striving but granted by my grace, not secured by your effort but sealed by my Spirit, not the result of chance but the fruit of covenant. And I urge you not to squander what is coming, not to treat lightly what is sacred, not to lose focus when favor increases, for greater blessing requires greater stewardship. And I am calling you to guard your heart, to stay anchored in humility, to remember that every gift points back to me, and if you remain surrendered, this inheritance will not only bless you but multiply through you, touching lives you never meet, altering histories you never see, and rippling into eternity with impact beyond measure. For I do not bless for momentary satisfaction, but for eternal purpose. I do not release for shallow gain, but for kingdom advancement. I do not entrust lightly, but with intent, and I am saying urgently, prepare to receive, prepare to steward, prepare to walk in the fullness of what I am giving, for the inheritance is sure, the promise is sealed, the release is near, and nothing can stop what I have ordained from reaching your hands. And when it comes, you will testify that it is not temporary, not fragile, not fleeting, but eternal, unshakable, everlasting, for it flows from the throne that never passes away. Do not measure what is ahead by the limitations of what you see now, for I am bringing acceleration that will move you further in months than you thought possible in years, and I declare this urgently because you have become accustomed to slow progress, to waiting seasons, to battles that seem to drag on without end. Yet this next move of my hand will carry a swiftness that will astound you. For when I open doors, no man can close them, and when I decree release, no delay can hinder it. And I need you to prepare your heart for sudden shifts, for blessings that come unexpectedly, for opportunities that appear without warning, because I am not bound by time the way man is bound. I am not limited by processes the way the world demands, and I am able to compress what would have taken years into a moment. And you will look around and see restoration of things you thought were permanently lost, advancement in areas where you once felt stuck, and growth in places that seemed barren, and you will marvel at how quickly I turn the tide, and I am telling you now urgently. Do not resist when things move faster than your comfort. Do not shrink back when doors open sooner than you thought you were ready. Do not hesitate when opportunities come suddenly, for this is my doing, and it is time, and I will not allow you to remain in cycles of delay any longer. For the hour of fulfillment is here, and the speed at which I act will silence every doubt, will confound every critic, will astonish even you, and you will testify that my hand moved with power, that my timing was perfect, that my acceleration was unstoppable. And I remind you now that this swiftness is not chaos, it is precision. It is not recklessness, it is fulfillment. It is not instability, it is alignment. And I am urging you to stay anchored in my presence as things unfold, for speed without grounding can overwhelm. But if you remain in me, the acceleration will not crush you but carry you. It will not exhaust you but empower you. It will not scatter you but establish you. And you will find that in a short span of time, I will do more than you prayed for, more than you dreamed of, more than you even dared to hope, and others will look upon your life and say, surely the Lord has done this suddenly, and they will know it was not coincidence, but covenant, not chance, but promise, not man, but God. And I am declaring urgently, prepare for acceleration, for I am moving quickly, and nothing can slow what I have ordained. I am opening pathways that have never existed before, and I say this with urgency because you have been looking for familiar routes, searching for doors that others have walked through, expecting opportunities that follow the patterns you have known. Yet what I am doing now will not follow human logic. It will not mirror old processes. It will not resemble what you have seen before. For I am creating a way where there was no way. I am carving streams in deserts. I am lifting roads through wilderness. And I am making the impossible possible before your eyes. And you must be ready to walk into unfamiliar territory, to embrace assignments that do not fit old molds, to trust me when the path feels uncharted. For this is not the season of imitation but of innovation, not the season of repeating what has been done but of birthing what has never been seen. And I am telling you urgently that you cannot cling to the old when I am doing something new. You cannot remain attached to yesterday's systems when I am building fresh structures. You cannot limit yourself to methods that once worked when I am expanding you into places that require greater faith. And I will guide you step by step. I will light the path one moment at a time. I will provide clarity as you move, but you must be willing to step without seeing the whole picture, to walk without demanding every detail, to trust without knowing the outcome. For this is how you will experience the wonder of my creativity, the beauty of my sovereignty, the power of my wisdom, and soon you will see doors open in industries you never thought you would enter, connections formed with people you never expected to meet, opportunities presented in places you never considered, and you will realize that I am not limited to your imagination, that I am not confined to your expectations, that I am not bound by human systems, and what I am doing is far beyond what you could have planned. And I urge you to release control, to let go of rigid timelines, to surrender the need for familiarity, for I am taking you into new landscapes, new assignments, new dimensions of influence, and though it may feel strange at first, though it may stretch your faith, though it may test your comfort, you will discover that it is perfect, for I make no mistakes, I prepare no faulty roads, I lead into no dead ends, and everything I set before you will prosper, everything I open will flourish, everything I create will bear fruit, and you will testify that what I birthed in your life was not the product of human effort, but of divine orchestration, not the result of repetition, but of new creation, not the outcome of striving, but of surrender. And I am declaring urgently, behold, I am doing a new thing, and you must walk forward with faith to see it unfold. The new path I am leading you upon will demand discernment like never before, for not every open door is from me, not every voice that speaks to you carries truth, not every opportunity is aligned with my purpose, and I speak this with urgency because the next season will present you with choices that look appealing but are designed to distract, with invitations that sound promising but are meant to detour, with offers that appear beneficial but hide snares beneath them, and if you are not attentive to my spirit, you may be drawn into agreements that slow your progress, into relationships that dilute your focus, into commitments that drain your strength. But I am giving you eyes to see beyond appearances, ears to discern beyond words, and wisdom to recognize what is of me and what is not. And you must train yourself to pause before every decision, to weigh every option in prayer, to bring every choice before me. For I will always confirm what is mine with peace that settles deeply, with clarity that does not waver, with alignment that strengthens instead of weakens. And I warn you now urgently, the enemy cannot steal what I have given, so he will attempt to distract you from walking in it. He cannot undo what I have decreed, so he will attempt to lure you into counterfeits. He cannot block the inheritance, so he will attempt to tempt you with shortcuts, and you must guard your spirit diligently, for discernment will be your shield, wisdom will be your anchor, and my word will be your compass. And if you remain attentive to my spirit, you will not be deceived, you will not be ensnared, you will not be diverted, but will walk straight into the fullness I prepared, and others around you will marvel at your clarity, at your ability to see what others missed, to sense what others ignored, to avoid traps that caught many, and it will be evident that my spirit is guiding you, and through this, I will preserve your destiny, I will guard your influence, I will protect your legacy, and I urge you urgently, do not rush decisions, do not chase appearances, do not lean on your own understanding, but remain surrendered, for I will guide you step by step, and you will walk safely past every snare, untouched by every counterfeit, secure in the path of truth, and your testimony will be that discernment kept you from destruction, that wisdom preserved your future, that my spirit led you into safety, and that every step was aligned perfectly with my will. You must anchor yourself in my presence above all else, for in a world filled with noise and endless distractions, it is only in the secret place with me that you will find stability, clarity, and strength. And I speak this urgently because too many voices have been contending for your attention, pulling you toward confusion, toward compromise, toward chaos. Yet I am calling you back to the stillness where my whisper cuts through every storm, where my peace surpasses every conflict, where my love heals every wound. And you must not neglect this place, for it is here that I refill what the world drains. It is here that I strengthen what trials have weakened. It is here that I renew what burdens have worn down. And if you make me your dwelling, no shaking around you will shake you. No pressure will overwhelm you. No fear will control you. For my presence is a fortress. My presence is a refuge. My presence is a shield. And I am urging you now to prioritize communion with me above every demand, above every ambition, above every pursuit. For apart from me, striving will only exhaust you, plans will only frustrate you, efforts will only leave you empty. But in me you will find rivers that never run dry, wisdom that never falters, strength that never fails, And I am saying urgently that the intimacy I desire with you is not a burden but a lifeline, not an obligation but a necessity, not an addition to your life, but the very source of your life. And if you will guard this place with me, if you will carve out time to seek me, if you will allow nothing to rob you of this fellowship, you will walk in power others cannot explain, in peace others cannot steal, in joy others cannot comprehend, and you will find yourself sustained not by outward circumstances but by inward communion with the living God. And in this place I will reveal strategies that human minds cannot conceive. I will impart courage that human hearts cannot muster. I will pour out vision that human eyes cannot see, and I will prepare you for assignments you never thought possible. And I tell you with urgency, return to me daily, hide yourself in me continually, rest in me deeply, and everything else will align, everything else will flow, everything else will prosper. For it is not the world that secures you but my presence. It is not connections that sustain you but my spirit. It is not effort that carries you but my grace. And if you remain in me, fruit will abound, victory will overflow, destiny will unfold, and nothing will be able to uproot you, nothing will be able to derail you, nothing will be able to destroy you. For I am your dwelling, and you are safe in me forever. Amen.